match that maybe they had the better of play, ends up not working out. Banfield on the other end, well, looking to try and find a back way to get into international play next year, knowing that Copa Argentina could be the answer, although they still have to contend with the semifinal and eventually the winner of the other leg between Patronato and Boca, of course, looking to defend that title and possibly being able to get a domestic treble in 2022. So there's still a lot of factors, there's still a lot to play for, but at the same time, what is it exactly that these two teams have to play for specifically?
Well, I mean, for Velez, there's still an opportunity for them. Well, they got to get out the bottom of the annual table. They don't really have much to play for, to tell you the truth. It's been a rough start for them. They're just playing for pride at this point. And for Banfield, yeah, a late charge and some results to go their way, and they could maybe qualify for Sudamericana next season. But it's not looking good for Banfield either. So at this point, it's just for pride and also to have some positive momentum going into the Copa de la Liga for next season. That's really what it comes down to for Velez and Banfield. Just playing out the string, having a little bit of fun, but playing for pride and positively building some momentum, some good results, something to build on for next season.
So we're waiting for Dario Herrera to give indications, and we are underway. I'll take that back, what I said earlier. I'll make an amendment on what I just said. I say, hey, the pitch isn't looking so bad. I take that back. You see a lot of spots that are still looking to grow back here at the Amalfitani. We'll have to see how the ball bounces around in the early stages of this match. Looks pretty good. Looks a bit high, the pitch does. I don't know. What do you think as of right now? Look at how the ball's rolling a little bit slower than it should be. It's a little bit high, the grass I'm talking about.
And also you can see right in the middle, there's that half of the pitch there that Velez is defending. So I wonder if that'll come into play. But yeah, the pitch here is in rough shape. You've seen better times on the grounds here at the Jose Amalfitani.
A long time ago, it seems like, but it hasn't been that long ago. Coronel coming out of the back as it'll be a throw-in coming up for El Taladro.
Pitch there.
As we're just getting started. Maybe not one of the matches that many will be looking towards when it comes to any South American ramifications, like you said. But two teams that usually do go after each other pretty well. We'll see if that tendency does continue. Gregorio Tanco going deep in Guidara, who's also lots of players also coming into this match. Several players coming into this match with already a yellow card caution, meaning that should they, fortunately they both go up at the same time and they both hit each other's studs at the same time. Although the one that ends up getting the worst part of it happens to be Franco Diaz.
It still stings, though. Ooh.
From one end, it comes up short. I was about to say the other, but it ends up not going in favor of Banfield. As it'll be Emmanuel Insua playing it out of the back. Winning it back in the middle happened to be Luca Orellano, who's playing in a more central role today. Osorio playing up top. And the race starts down the far side. Franco Diaz has to drop it back. Who's in the middle? He'll be able to recover that ball. Continue play is Jose Florentin. Tracking back and being able to take that ball away, or at least attempting to. Guidara. Leaving it for the attempt that was being made. Of course, it ends up not really working out for anyone as Franco Diaz playing over on that right side. He, alongside Luca Orellano, will be switching sides to see where they can end up creating more situations or getting better matchups. see right there, Matias Romero. Aaron Quiroz, of course, also another player that made his return just recently after being sent off a couple of rounds ago. So Banfield looking shored up. Franco Diaz again racing down the middle. As that back line and that buffer right in front of him ends up dropping back, allowing some space for Velez to be able to operate. Now down the near side happens to be a free kick for Velez Sarsfield. The foul will be called on Emmanuel Coronel, and he ends up getting the first yellow card of the match. Was it Coronel? Yeah, it was Coronel with the foul, so obviously, unless it was someone else, no, it had to be Coronel. And
yeah, it was. Yep.
And he ends up missing the next match.
I don't know what he's complaining about. I mean, he commits the foul, and then the other leg comes in from behind and makes contact as well. That was pretty nasty of a challenge there by Coronel.
Coronel as well as Alejandro.
Yeah, I was saying with this pitch and the issues with the pitch there, set pieces could be very important in this match.
That it will be. Coronel alongside Alejandro Maciel, the two players on yellow card caution for Banfield. I'll mention the Velez ones in just a minute. Luke Arellano trying to organize his teammates, making sure, okay, fine, where are they? How to space that ball, and of course, when to send it in order for them to best attack it. Keep in mind, Agustin Mulet can also keep it short. It's going to be Orellano looking inside the 6, crashing in, and of course, the collision where Brisue, of course, just a whole, he ends up getting the worst end of it, maybe? Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. Oh. Because the front of his head hits the back. The defender's head there, yeah, that's oof. And his momentum was going into it as well when he elevated and made that movement there. So that one hurts.
Basically 10 changes for Velez. Except for Leandro Urian. Everyone else was pretty much taken out. And of course, Valentin Gomez and Francisco Ortega. Essentially the left side of Velez defensive back out due to red card suspension. Leo Jara also out. Matias de los Santos gets replaced by Damian Fernandez. And of course, as I mentioned, everyone else. So all 10 field players different to the match against Boca. Keep in mind, they played, what was it? They played on Sunday. So you're basically playing 48 hours in between matches, which ends up being, I don't know if anyone else did that. I have to look at the calendar real quick, but the only team that I know that is played within 48 hours of one game and the next happens to be Velez.
Yeah. And Velez can afford to, they can afford to make 10 changes in the lineup, especially when we talked about how they're not really playing for any spot in South America for next season. They're not in the race for the title as well, so they have nothing to lose. You could make 10 changes and see how that lineup works out and see what players do enough to possibly lock up a spot for next season.
It could be looked at that way as well. Yes, as a man down again. Meanwhile, for Banfield, there's another infraction. Just trying to get himself back together. Orellano ends up just getting drilled in the face. That man right there, one of the big question marks for Velez going into next season. Will he return? So you're not going to be able to find anyone to take over at this stage of the season, so might as well just end his contract and start looking. You will have, at the end of October, all of November, all of December, to be able to find a coach to come in Orellana, you see how he goes down. It's the second time that he takes a pretty good knock.
Yeah. See that left leg slide up there by Coronel and knock him in the back there. So that's a rough tackle there. But to your point about Medina, I mean, he got them to the semifinal with Libertadores. I know the domestic form suffered because of it.
Massively.
Rough to kind of, yes, massively. I know it would be rough to let him go after a surprising run to the last four of the Libertadores. Got to give him a chance to fix things domestically so they can get back to the Libertadores. We know in Argentine football, these club directors, they're fickle. They want immediate results, and they're not going to look at the Libertadores run as much as how they performed the last 2 months.
Launched it deep. That's knocked away by Damian Fernandez. Coronel. Of course, Tanco also getting a start today. Quiroz, like I said, returned recently. Romero Rios. Ignacio Rodriguez getting a start as well. So also Banfield looking to switch things up. Of course, for them, the priority ends up being the cup. As they wait to see what the dates are on that. Velez trying to add a bit more depth to their attack, doing a good job here with Jose Florentin looking to win the byline, but getting away from him, and very little that can be done after that. And they'll go right back to El Taladro.
Banfield's best chance of qualifying for for Libertadores, because Copa Argentina winner goes to Libertadores.
Yes.
To try
they
to
have
win
an
the
out.
cup
They have an ends up being a little bit not delusional, but it ends up being a very outside chance, if you will.
Right. Yeah, it's a slim chance that they win out, and then everyone else in front of them loses or drops points to the point where they could qualify for Sudamericana. So, I mean, it's still mathematically possible, but like you said, it's a very slim chance that that'll happen.
Exactly.
So Copa Argentina is their best bet.
In the annual table, they find themselves in 17th place with 46 points, tied with Independiente. The problem is, that's the good news. The bad news is that they're 8 points behind the pace with 15 points still to play. Oof. Defensa y Justicia have that last spot in 10th place as the ball is knocked stage right. Defensa y Justicia with 54 points. And they have the last Sudamericana spot. So that ends up making things a bit more precarious for El Taladro in the most accessible way, as you said, to be able to play in South America next year would be winning the Copa Argentina. Not an impossible task, but a pretty hefty climb, if you ask me. They did get to the final of the Copa Maradona a few years ago. They played Boca, so that could be a possible scenario. Trying to win that ball back in the middle, doing so. Making things a bit more difficult for Matias Romero as soon as he gives that ball back in the middle, it's recovered by Velez, who want to be able to have a bit more leverage. And in theory, they can have that. The big problem is for them, well, how do we score?
Yeah.
Fernandez.
After 3 or 4 passes, they're giving the ball away, so they have a problem of generating goal-scoring chances consistently here. It's still kind of a feeling out process. You can see that they want to play out of the back, but really there's no creativity so far, especially through the middle. The best chances have been Orellana down the left side. He's been the only one that's really looked dangerous to create a goal-scoring chance down the left side for Velez.
6 goals in their last 10 matches. What's even more telling is well, only 3 in their last 5.
Oof, yeah. And finishing, that's the key. Got to finish those chances.
And when you start giving those statistics, then the final one ends up making all the more sense. 1 win in the last 10.
Yep.
Fernandez.
At some point, and I know at some point we mentioned the Libertadores taking a huge toll.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, they got to get the domestic form right.
Orellano. Of course, with one doing well, the other one ends up not looking too shabby either. Looking from outside as Agustin Mulet. Because one feeds off the other to a certain extent. If your team is doing well, usually ends up feeding the other as well. I mean, I'm speaking in a very theoretical, very idealistic manner, but it does work in that fashion when your team is carbureting in the right manner.
Right. And you make a run to the Libertadores, the semifinal, your team is supremely confident, but then they got dominated by Flamengo, and that might have hurt the team's confidence a little bit, and
which was expected.
Right.
Let's not kid ourselves, because anyone, maybe not our friend Fede, but that's a different story.
Even
everyone
might have been expecting it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the thing. He was on. I mean, I'm kidding, of course. He too was also saying it's a very tough ask, especially the way Flamengo had been playing up to that point in all competitions. Of course, after that semifinal, Flamengo started to dip a little bit in their form domestically, thus, of course, ending basically their argument to be able to surpass Palmeiras.
Right, in the Brasileirão, right.
Exactly. Banfield being just very reactionary in the early stages. Insua, as you see again, some of the sod getting lifted up there by Insua. None of his fault, of course. Franco Diaz. Tomás Guidara. And just like that, that ball's taken away. Aaron Quiroz punting it deep. Osorio. Orellano. Good ball! As that ball's just absolutely missed. Tough break there for Velez.
Yeah, that was a good build-up there from Velez. They went from the right side to the middle to the left. So all the attacking players getting involved. The run there made by Insua forced the defender to lay off of Orellano. And then Castro getting inside, getting the position. Maybe he was a tad bit late, half a second late in terms of getting on to the end of that service, but that was good patient build-up there by Velez. Right side, middle, left, everyone seemed to get a touch and look dangerous in the attack.
Insua. As you see, of course, will he also be remaining in his position? Of course, I'm talking about Claudio Vivas. I think that's the odds are better stacked in his favor compared to Cacique Medina.
Yeah.
Just nodding it, trying to keep it in there, and Osorio goes down as he gets body checked. It'll end up being a free kick in favor of Velez Sarsfield. There's already 18 minutes in. Still no score here at the Jose Malfitani alongside George Zimetellus. I'm Juan Arango. It's a pleasure to be with you. Gregorio Tanco getting called for the foul. Ooh, right there. Fortunately, he missed. Thank God he missed.
Oh, that's still a yellow card at least.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not having an argument with. I'm not having an argument with that. I'm just saying.
Definitely, the contact he made there for sure was at least a yellow. Yeah,
Absolutely. So, how's this ball going to be played? Orellano. You know, Santiago Castro that came in, but just got under it way too much.
Orellano has provided a couple of very good services into the area. He is the danger man right now for Velez, as you might expect when a player wears the number 10 in South America. So we'll see if that continues.
Now trying to race forward is Banfield. Florentin cutting that pass off, and Velez will have to drop back and defend a bit more. Banfield, of course, looking to control proceedings as of right now. Tanco. Maciel. Aaron Quiroz misplaying that ball. And Velez now starting the attack. Could they take advantage of a major mistake? And it was Maciel. Urian. Actually, Cambeses, I should say. I'm sorry. Facundo Cambeses, who's been in very good form in the past couple of weeks. You could even say he's been one of the outstanding players for Banfield during this recent run of form that they've had. As we get into the 21st minute of play, the ball bobbling, and again, you see some of the conditions on the pitch. The way that ball bounces, the way it just ends up hitting some of the divots and how it's played out. Start to see a little bit of that struggle to get that pitch, get that sod back into condition. It was Mulet trying to hurdle over, finding Orellano. Bit short there for a very complicated Insua. Insua, of course, getting knocked off his center and asking for a foul, not getting it. And starts getting angry at the referee assistant. So not him. Because of that, you end up getting a yellow card.
You have to give credit to Banfield there on that sequence, that bit of possession for Velez going forward. Banfield were well organized defensively there. They didn't give up too much. They didn't give up much space. They had the numbers back. That certainly frustrated Insua there. So well done by Banfield, the way they were organized in that foray going forward for Velez.
In a divided ball, cleared away. Well, attempting to clear it away was Brizuela. You see how that ball just rolls so conspicuous. I mean, it's just the way that each and every pass comes through. You think it's going to have a certain amount of pace, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
it ends up being
slows it down.
Yeah. Diaz racing over Tomás Guevara.
It's almost as if the players have to put a little extra power to make a pass that wouldn't require that much strength. You know, they have to put a little more effort into the passes to get the ball where they need to go because of the pitch conditions. So that's interesting there. It looks like Banfield is dealing with it a little bit better than Velez so far.
24 minutes. Neither team has truly been able to harm the other. As soon as that ball comes in, well, not much done there. And that ends up being part of the problem for both of these teams. They end up losing a lot of their protagonism based on how they're playing in these situations.
Right, yeah, it's a matter of just poor connectivity and the final touches in that last third to make things happen, to get that good goal-scoring opportunity, and then the consistency to do it throughout the course of the match.
As you see, of course, the collisions, the physicality. Look, I can go and talk about the pitch all I want, and the pitch gives us conversation aplenty. But that's not the only thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure both teams, they adjusted their boots. Maybe their studs underneath the boots are a little bit longer to get better traction. So I'm sure that the equipment managers for both teams made that adjustment when it comes to the pitch. But in the end, you still got to kick the ball. You still have to move into space. You still have to defend and mark and do everything that you would do on a pitch that's in better condition. So it's a factor, but it's not what's going to determine who wins or loses.
And trying to bring that ball down. Well, the one that does is Alejandro Maciel. Tracking back to defend was Matias Romero. Ball hanging inside the 6. Cleared away by Maciel. Dropping it down and scattering around, scrambling to be able to get to that ball was the Banfield defense. As Juan Cruz goes down.
And Cruz just needs some service right now. That's the only reason he hasn't been impactful in this game yet. He's just waiting for some service. So drop into the midfield to occupy the attention of the defenders. So he's going to have to be clever with his movements here in order to have more of an impact in this match.
Being able to deaden that ball, Osorio. Florentin advancing. Up top is Santiago Castro. Does allow Osorio to be able to move around a bit more and not lose a presence inside of the area. At least theoretically, that's what Cacique Medina is looking to do. Damian Fernandez. Returning is Guidara, trying to first time his way to Santiago Castro, who does shift out wide. Florentin, wanting to give the ball some movement.
Yep. Good positioning there by Insua. I thought he was going to make the turn quicker when he got the ball, but he held up a little bit, and Romero coming in from behind. And I think to break this Banfield defense and this defensive setup that they have, this defensive tactical setup they have, someone is going to have to run at the defense there. Individual moment of brilliance, as they say.
Luke Arellano, will the third time be the charm for him? Looking to set it near the 6. Again, it's Maciel that's nodding it away. Alvarez.
Good ball in there. Yeah, Orellano, excuse me.
Yeah.
That ball in, but his left foot was excellent. Top of the 6 there. That's all on his teammates to get on the end of that service, but that was a very good ball, an excellent ball in.
Launched in and knocked away by Guidara. And you hear, please, someone do something.
Yeah.
You hear from the bench.
Por favor.
Now it's Osorio. So what does he do? He puts on the brakes, and another errant pass on the outlet, another errant stop, and of course a lot of technical frailties being shown on both ends, as one does a little bit less, one does a little bit more, and neither one of these two sides end up doing anything at all. Back into the middle. As play continuing for Velez. Maybe not in the most direct manner. As we get into the final 15 minutes of this first half. A first half that has gone by rather quick. But it's been in this sector. And no one's really been able to break through. Coronel. Cambeses sending a souvenir. Insua. Orellano. Orellano spins, and really there's so little mobility.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has anything to do with the way Banfield have just set themselves up to tactically, defensively, making it difficult. The only player who's been able to figure it out is Orellano.
Back, and a lot of struggles continue for Velez. Now, we're not saying anything new. This has been endemic. And when you start talking about getting the domestic end fixed, these are the things you have to get fixed. But at the same time, we have to be very conscientious about 10 substitutions, not an 11 that are accustomed to playing together as a unit. So you have that as the ball ends up short. Alvarez trying to feed it to Quiros. And once again, when the ball's rolling on the ground, look at how everything kicks up. Mind you, this... Well, it's part of the fact.
But it's the dirt. Yeah, the brown dirt underneath. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep in mind, you had nearly something like 20,000 fans on this pitch just on Sunday, just 48 hours ago.
Right. And guarantee that the vast majority of them were.
This ball right to Orellano, off of the chest of Cambeses. That's the best opportunity either team has had so far. And as they say in South America, Cambeses, it plays tricks on him, but he's able to react quickly enough, as it was Santiago Castro with a shot from outside.
Good movement down the right side there, and then Orellano, right place at the right time. And how about Cambeses off the chest? Good fundamental goalkeeping. In that situation, you have to make yourself big, and that's what he did there to prevent the goal.
Another ball coming in. Urian. Yeah, and do you blame Cambeses? Absolutely not. He's still trying to catch his... I mean, if you see the replay, George, you see exactly as Orellano just right there.
Right off his chest.
Right off his chest, absolutely.
Might have had, just for a second there, have the wind knocked out of him, and then he had to keep his composure because the attack was still going for Velez. So yeah, he's going to need a break there. That hurts because Orellano did not give a light shot there. He put some power behind it there with his left foot.
Of course, as play stops, everyone decides to get a bit of a hydration break. He'll be fine. Now, God, there was one goalkeeper I remember that something like that. Now, I'm talking about 25, 30 years back when the ball wasn't as light and as fast as it was. He made a very similar save, ended up breaking a couple of ribs. I'm trying to remember who it was. It wasn't Mono Navarro. I'm trying to remember who it was. Made a very similar save, and he ended up breaking a couple of ribs in the process. Keep in mind, a much heavier ball. That if it was able to generate that type of speed, well, you end up kind of wanting to back away from it.
Especially back then, those balls, they were thicker. The material was thicker as well, as you mentioned, not as light. Then as well, those players. So might have to Google that at halftime.
Another ball being crossed in. Guidara winning it and not having much of a problem being able to clear it away. Maciel, 36 minutes in. The Velez have tried. At least Velez have tried.
Yeah, I mean, it's been mainly Orellano. Orellano has been good.
Ooh. Yeah, here's a good chance. Enrique, a chance from outside, it hits the post of the rebound. As Palacios could not get there. Another chance for Banfield, but this time the ball gets steered away.
Oh, wow. Take a look. Look at the transition. At first, this is some good one-touch passing there to play it into space. But look who is open on the left side there. They had the numerical 4-2 advantage. Obviously, the shot by Palacios is good, so we can't be too upset. But if he plays it to the left instead of looking for Palacios there on the right, that might have been a better opportunity there for Banfield to open the scoring. But still, you got to like that triangulation of one-touch passes in that midfield to play Banfield into that transition situation.
Cambeses. Major struggle here. And on top of that, it's been choppy. On top of that, neither team has really been able to establish a certain rhythm.
Right.
So, you know, if you're Banfield, where do we go from here? If you're Velez, what do we do? Osorio. At least, like I said earlier on, with at least Velez, they've been able to move the ball around with a bit more clarity, not too much. Florentin has Luca Orellano down the left side. Obviously, very strange to look at him in that sector and not see Hanson, who's on the bench today. Romero. Being held up and eventually committing the infraction, thus killing off the attack on his own.
Orellano made that pass to Insua. Insua had 3. Take a look at it again. Look at on the left side, to the left. You have Cruz on the left. And also I think Alvarez was making a run at the far post as well. I think that would have been the better pass because you see they had the advantage numerically, but by playing the Palacios, they were able to kind of get the slide over easier. They had a 2-on-1 situation on the left side there with Cruz and Alvarez with more of the goal to shoot at. That might have been the better pass, but still, you have to like how Banfield passed their way.
And of course, just a little while ago, the LPF itself made a statement.
Okay.
When we have a moment, actually, I'll read the statement.
Okay.
The LPF manifests its disconformity and repudiation over the ways in which Club Atlético Velez Sarsfield managed that their match be played against Banfield on round 23 of the Torneo Binance, that it be played in a very irregular and inappropriate venue. Of course, I'm directly translating this as we speak. That pretends to offer the best conditions for the spectators. It is important to highlight that the club never solicited the authorization of the LPF for the development of this spectacle in this anomaly. With this anomaly, of course, they're talking about the stage on the edge of the pitch, as it was not mentioned with anticipation that the documentation did not show that there was any type of information given about the subject.
And
the action is that the action. It says it continues saying, the action, whether this was made, and of course, based on the control back on September 19th, in which everything was approved for the match. Wow, it was informed that the situation. The situation was informed to the league hours before the match. Of course, it would not allow in real time to suspend or postpone this encounter. It needs to be mentioned that the would not authorize any future matches in these types of situations that are so grave. If this were to repeat itself once again, the home club would have to go and have a direct change of venue if that situation were to arise again. And that's the official statement from the Argentine LPF about this match right now, as we get into the 43rd minute of play.
Yeah, first of all, those first 2 or 3 sentences, we're going to need a thesaurus because there was a lot of big words there. And then after that, someone in the LPF is not a Daddy Yankee fan, that's for sure. And then the third thing here is, well, I should say 3 things, not 2.
But I'll mention in just a second, there's a break starting here.
Yep.
Enrique not being able to get through, and Urian was able to get a touch. The clubs know with a great deal of anticipation. It wasn't like Daddy Yankee went on Friday and said, hey, by the way, can I use your stadium?
Oh, yeah, they planned that months in advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
The tickets were sold months in advance. The tour was sold months in advance. And not only that one, not only that, Kevin, we have to also talk about what's going to happen on Thursday. There's another set of concerts going on after this.
Ooh.
So what do you do then? Looking to bring it down with Cruz, but he does handle it as it goes out of bounds, but it'll end up being Velez ball regardless. No, that's not a handball.
Yep.
That is not a handball.
That's a foul, though.
That's
a foul.
Let's see.
Let's see.
No.
Oh, Burian gets the ball first.
Burian gets the ball.
Yeah, that's not a foul. No. Yeah, there's contact, but he slid to the ball first. So,
but
yeah, that's
again,
not a foul.
with Cruz,
understand the new handball rule, how the sleeve is the reference. It ends up hitting him on the sleeve, which ends up making it not a handball. As that ball goes out. But going back to that issue, because it's interesting that you mentioned that. The club knew, hey, by the way, we have a concert here, we have an event there. The club basically has the calendar for the month of October already filled in, and I'll be generous, let's say in March, April, May.
Right.
So it's something that was known a long time ago.
Yeah,
I rest my case.
They knew a long time ago, so either the grounds crew needed to be working triple overtime to get the field ready for the match, or they find an alternate venue to play the match. And that would have eased some of the concerns of the MPF for this encounter. I mean, it's not unusual in world football to have a concert or a game moved because of a concert or postponed. You play this match instead of today, you play it tomorrow or the following day in order to get the pitch ready. Yeah.
It's happened at River. It's happened at Boca.
Yeah.
It's happened at other venues because Velez and River are the venues where the big concerts in Buenos Aires occur. And I'm talking about concerts where there's 15, 20, 25 and more. Ball floated in, not enough. Another handball being called by the referee. More River for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it's a huge stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
well, yeah.
70, 80,000 capacity at Monumental.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whenever that has happened in the past, games have been postponed, moved around, whatever the case may be. And it is done with a great deal of anticipation. Insua. Quiros just wanted to clear it out any which way possible. Banfield will be happy to end up with a scoreless draw after 45 minutes.
Yeah, because with the exception of maybe one or two counterattacks going forward for Banfield, they haven't generated much in the attack in this first half. It's been Velez who have deserved the opening goal. So, yep, you're right. A 0-0 result at halftime is a dream, a blessing for.
Although that being said, if they have an opportunity to score here and they take advantage of it, which they won't, would have been an even bigger dream.
Yeah, it would have.
So with that, we end up going into halftime scoreless. Very little has occurred, although that's been the best opportunity. And of course, Banfield would answer back, hitting the post. That's been pretty much it after 45 minutes here at the Jose Amalfitani. As it wasn't a concert, and it wasn't a symphony, that's for sure. Don't go away. Andy Schimmelman will be covering everything that's happened today and everything that is about to happen in the midweek round. Could be some major moves going on in the Argentine LPF table. We'll check it out. Don't go away.
Breathe in and know that vaping nicotine can actually increase feelings of stress.
Yet some vape companies get rich telling you it's a stress reliever.
So let's call it what it is. It's a breath of stress air.
Black Adam.
We're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender.
I'm not peaceful. Nor do I surrender.
It's his darkness that lets him do what heroes cannot. The battle you're meant to fight is upon us. There's no one on this planet that can stop me.
Black Adam, rated PG-13, October 21st.
It's the Subway Series menu. 12 irresistible subs. Like number 11, Subway Club. Powered with turkey, ham, and roast beef. This sub isn't slowing down anytime soon.
I'll give it a run for its money.
My money. Subway's biggest rephrase.
You need to make. Go further when you fill up its shell. Ready to go? Let's hit the road.
A diaper this leak-free sets them free. Only Pampers Cruisers 360 have a 360 stretchy waistband for up to 100% leak-free fit on every wild child. Pampers Cruisers 360. Live wild and free.
Back here in Liniers, scoreless between Velez and Banfield at the break. As we review round 23 in the Liga Profesional de Fútbol, the scores, the draw between Rosario Central and Unión, Los Civi defeating Barracas 2-0, two scoreless draws, Godoy Cruz San Lorenzo, Newell's Arsenal, the 2-2 Sarmiento Tigre, and so far no goals between Velez and Banfield. In the Amalfitani tomorrow, Colón Patronato starts us off at 4:30 p.m. local time in Argentina. At 7 p.m., Defensa y Justicia hosting Racing, Atlético Tucumán against Platense. And then at 9:30, River Estudiantes in the Monumental and Independiente Central Córdoba in the Libertadores de América Ricardo Enrique Bocchini Stadium. Final three games for Thursday: Lanús Argentinos, Huracán Talleres, Gimnasia Boca. Standings, Boca first with 42, Atlético Tucumán second with 41. 37, wrapping up the top five, River 6 with 35, Tigre, Godoy Cruz with 34, Argentinos Newell's with 33, 31 for Platense, Patronato, and San Lorenzo Independiente has 30. And in the bottom half of the list, Sarmiento also with 30 after their draw against Tigre. Defensa y Justicia 29, Central Córdoba and Barraca Central 28, Banfield, Unión and Estudiantes 27, 26 for Rosario Central, 25 for Talleres, 24 for Arsenal, 22 for Colón, 20 for Lanús, 17 so far for Velez, and 16 for Aldo Civi. And the battle to avoid relegation, with Aldo Civi and Patronato dropping down with 102 and 101 points respectively. Arsenal with 109, Godoy Cruz already safe with 114, Central Córdoba 112 with 2 fewer games. And the teams qualifying for international competition: Racing, Boca, River and Gimnasia in the Libertadores, Argentinos, Newell's, Huracán, Estudiantes, Tigre and Defensa y Justicia in Sudamericana. Taking a look at the first half highlights here. A pre-game handshake between Alexander Medina and Claudio Vivas. to the highlights we go with the first shot by Agustin Mulet. Luca Orellano. Ball into the box, and almost there was Santiago Castro. Orellano with the free kick. The header by Castro on top of the bar. Nice cross here, deflected by Alejandro Maciel into the hands of Cambeses. Good chance here for Velez. Cross from the far side. Luca Orellano with a bomb with the chest. Cambeses holding firm. Castro with a shot, and Cambeses once again to the corner. A counter-attack for Banfield. Ramiro Enrique leaving it for Julian Palacios. The shot hits the post. Great opportunity for El Taladro, but we are tied at the break. Time to take a look at today's goals here in this halftime show. In Mar del Plata, Martín Cauteruccio with the opening goal for Aldo Civi, who defeated Barraca Central. Crucial victory for the Sharks. A nice combo on the near side, and Cauteruccio just touching it in nicely done. The very similar play, cross, and then the tap in by Tomas Martinez. 2-0 the win for Aldo Civi over El Guapo. And in Sarmiento, Hernan Toledo scored but took a terrific and tremendous shot off the goalpost. Look at it, bang in. That has to hurt for Toledo. Managed to score the first goal for Sarmiento, but got kissed by the goalpost. Tigre would equalize thanks to Blas Armoa, who's on a fantastic roll. 5 goals in the last 5 games for the Paraguayan Blas Armoa. Incredible, really. And they would quickly turn it around with Facundo Colidio hitting. Going from 0-1 to 2-1 up. El Matador, the team coach by Diego Martinez. But in the second half, the home side would equalize once again. Luciano Gondu taking advantage near the 6-yard box for the final score, 2-2 in Junín. We're back here at the Jose Malfitani Stadium. No goals between Velez and Banfield as we send it back over to Juan and George for the second half. Guys, take it away.
This match ends up being something very particular because, I mean, if you've ever tried to build something or to try and create something and you're missing pieces, well, don't expect it to be 100% effective or for said creation to fulfill 100% of the expectations that you have set forth. That's what makes this match so complicated to analyze because of all the pieces that are missing. especially with Velez. You look at all the substitutions that they've made. You look at all the changes that have been made by Cacique Medina, and you start to ask yourself a lot of questions. The same thing can be said about Banfield, but Banfield, of course, you end up giving them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt since they're the away team. You give them a little benefit of the doubt because they're the ones that have to be, they might be even more affected by everything that we talked about in the first half as the away team. So, how do you come in and you analyze this? Well, that's what George DeMatteis is for. That's what he gets paid the big bucks for. And of course, I'll just lay it off to him, and he's the one that analyzes it.
Okay, well, let's see. Let's talk about Velez first, since they're the home side with the big stage on right outside the pitch there for all the Daddy Yankee fans. Well, for Velez, it's very simple. The first half was just, they didn't really finish their chances. Came down to that. Everything dangerous was with Luca Orellano. So Orellano has to be the focus of the Banfield defense. For Banfield, they had some good opportunities in transition, 2 or 3. We saw the shot by Palacios that went off the post. But for Banfield, they have to find a way to hold some possession and build the attack going forward and keep the ball away from Velez, because Velez were able to move pretty freely through that midfield. Even though Banfield did have a good defensive setup for the majority of the first half, they still gave up some spaces, and especially out wide with Insua and Orellano on the left and then Castro and Guidara down the right side. So that's really where Velez were looking dangerous, from the outside in. But for Banfield to take pressure off their defense, that midfield with Romero and Rios, they have to find a way to get some possession, get some service to Cruz and Enrique in order to get a goal. They were content with that 0-0 after the first 45 minutes, but in order to really climb up the table and kind of make that last charge for a Sudamericana spot, that last Sudamericana spot, they're going to need to win this match. Although, as we mentioned before, if they win Copa Argentina, it doesn't matter. But we'll see what happens. But Velez got to finish their chances, and Banfield has to create chances by doing a better job of holding the ball in the midfield.
Sounds easy.
Yeah. Easier, much easier said than done, yes.
So, we shall see if they can do that. Now, that's the difficult part. Can they do that? As we wait for both teams to step onto the pitch, literally.
You know what? I know that stadium, that stage there, distraction, but it does kind of look pretty cool. It does give the stadium a little bit of an extra flavor to it. I know it won't be permanent, but seeing that stadium there, that stage behind the goal, it's unique. I kind of like that. It's not permanent.
You're not one of the fans that paid for seats there.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's right. If you're a season ticket holder,
that's another thing they had to do. I mean, many of the fans that usually sit there had to be reaccommodated elsewhere. Not something that you're too fond of if you're a fan, but 'tis the casualties or the collateral damage, if you will, of being able to generate money for your club. I guess that's the only thing you can really say at this point.
Yeah. Unless Velez had to get some portion of the proceeds from the money generated from that concert, right? Yeah.
Of course they did. Of course, yeah. Well, that's part of the reason why the clubs do it.
Right. And maybe it was a big reason why they said, "Oh, we'll go through whatever consternation or punishment or disappointment, I should say, through the words of the LPF, for the cash that Daddy Yankee supporters bring in." So they'll deal with that criticism when they see the bank account fatten a little bit from the concert revenues, from their share of the concert revenues.
So Jose Alvarez is the one that leaves. Mauricio Cuero will come on. Of course, as we await for the beginning of this second half. As you hear the announcement being made that Jose Alvarez has come off, the Colombian Mauricio Cuero comes on. You see him right there on your screen. There are lots of changes in the starting lineup for Banfield as well. Cuero was going to start, but then it was a last-second scratch, and they brought in Juan Cruz. So, second half about to begin, and we are underway in Liniers. Alongside George Di Metellus, I'm Juan Arango. It's a pleasure to be with you as we continue our coverage of the Argentine LPF. Franco Diaz. Again, you start to see Velez attack, looking to elaborate a little bit more down the right side. It's Santiago Castro. Castro started basically as a 9, ends up playing out wide down the right, thus forcing Luca Orellano to play down the left-hand side. Orellano protecting, shielding the ball as he was being marked pretty tenaciously. Maciel coming through, and Maciel has been quite the solid player so far for Banfield in this match.
Yeah, he sure has. He sure has. Him and Tanco have done a decent job. It's been the wing backs that have allowed the space.
Punched away. Good job there by Facundo Cambeses. Maciel. Back and forth they go as awkwardly. Of course, I'm sorry, my bad. It won't happen again, Mr. Referee.
Yeah,
See Palacios put a ground.
Yeah,
it's a push.
Knee in the back. Is there a knee or something in the back there? Because it was a push, but I didn't see any real vicious contact or anything.
But it was just enough. And of course, that just sets everyone ablaze right now. Palacios still down on the ground. He fell awkwardly on his arm. Let's be honest about that.
Oh, that's what it was. He fell awkwardly on his arm. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. And those yellow cards all over the place. We'll get indications as to who got them, because there was a flurry. See right there? So he fell on his left arm.
Yeah, the left shoulder. Yeah. I thought at first he's favoring his leg, and then.
Now, was there something else there by Franco Diaz? Like kind of a little slap in the back of the neck? Maybe.
Yeah, but that was just that was something that was light, as if to say you're okay, don't worry. I don't think that was anything vicious or mean by Diaz.
And a yellow card was given. Now, I'm not confirming this 100%. I just saw it that Luciano Becasis was on the bench. He ends up getting booked. Osorio's on the ground. Now, the big question is, were there any more yellow cards that were given? Palacios, who goes to ground again.
Jeez.
This time it's Tomas Guidana.
Palacios getting beaten up a little bit here. We're gonna need some of these players to stay on their feet. Some of this is a little too much play acting and trying to gain favor with the referee.
Well, if the play is not working out, you got to find some other methods. Good give and go. Sliding in, and it was Quiros, another challenge, and this time the fans are complaining because in that whole sequence of play, Santiago Castro, I mean, he gets drilled. You can see right here. Not this play, but right there.
Ooh.
He gets up, play continues, and then the referee calls the foul instead of giving advantage.
Yeah, the second half, the start to the second half is degenerated a little bit into a physical affair of tackling more than skill. And that's contrary to what happened in the first half.
Castro. Collected in the middle by Agustin Mulet. It takes so much time for Velez to do anything with the ball. Guidara who loses it. Mulet trying to play it forward. Having to triangulate it, but of course Velez having the numbers. Banfield also having their own set of troubles as well. Lautaro Rios is the one that drops back. Tanco alongside Maciel. So far, everything you said hasn't been done.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
Well, without you thinking I'm picking on you, I'm not. Actually, I'm actually picking on the player.
I know, you're right. You're right, though.
Florentin Guidara.
I wish I had seen 16 tackles here in the first 5 minutes.
Cambeses.
You wonder if we're starting to see with those tackles early on just some frustration. Now very intense.
Now, the thing is, yeah, great, they're coming out intense, but is intensity translating into effectiveness?
Yep. That's the key. How effective is that intensity in terms of creating a goal?
Cambeses once more. Castro looking to send that ball through. He's able to get the ball right back. Trying to feed it in. Osorio. And you see the pass. Everything that occurs, the pass. And as soon as that ball starts to make its trajectory to whatever the destination is, whether it's the goal or to another player, it seems like it's an eternity for it to get to that destination.
Yeah. As exemplified by that shot there by Osorio, he makes the turn and he strikes it well. He didn't strike it with average power. He put some good power into it, and you could see, as you mentioned, the grass slowing it up there. It was going wide anyway, and that allowed Cambeses to come over and at least cover the post that Osorio was aiming for. But you could see that shot was slow, and it wasn't because of the power. I think the grass definitely and the turf had something to do with the movement on the ball.
Franco Diaz. Few attempts, very few chances. 2 shots total on target. Now, is it?
Oh, wow.
You can see it again. You might not have an argument here for a yellow card. You can see right there.
Oh, no question. That's a red.
That's why. Right there, look.
Yep.
Right into the knee.
No question.
As Lautaro Rios gets sent off, no doubt about it. So that leaves Banfield down a man. And immediately Claudio Vivas has to go to his bench.
Yep. This is the perfect scenario for Velez here. Obviously, at home, now they'll have the man advantage. They've been the better side in attack when they've had possession. So we will see how ruthless they are of taking advantage of that space. And then obviously, this is going to be a defensive-minded substitution for Banfield.
There's Ignacio Rodriguez. See, right?
Yeah. Ooh, goodness. Yeah.
And you see the scrape immediately thereafter. I mean, that's how deep it was. I mean, I've seen worse, but that one was right up there.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
As it'll be yeah.
That's a ligament tear type tackle right there, right on the knee.
Holding, of course, you see Rodriguez, Lautaro Rios. There might be two substitutions coming on. Part of the reason why Claudio Vivas is holding everything up, as you see another player slowly getting out of off the bench. Andres Chavez will be the other player for Banfield coming on. The game's kind of dissolved. It's kind of dematerialized itself to a certain extent. I mean, that should be a yellow card.
Yep.
If it wasn't, clear.
So, yeah, Stevie Wonder could see that.
Rodriguez comes on, I should say, excuse me. Is there a third substitution coming on? I saw Chavez, but I just saw someone else also step in. So Ramiro Enrique comes off. Who hasn't been much of a factor in this encounter.
Yeah.
And Juan Cruz also coming off. So you're taking both forwards out. Yeah, sit back. Sit back and hold on.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And then maybe with those two midfielders, you bring on, you have a one midfielder, you have someone that can distribute and possibly play the ball into space on the counterattack and transition, possibly, but for the most part, it's going to be sit back, defend, and just absorb the barrage of possession and attack by Velez.
Would Cuero be the player that's going to stay up top? Is Orellano, that ball started dipping, but it didn't dip enough.
Probably. Cuero probably would be the best player.
I think Cuero would be the only
top there. Yeah. Kind of spearhead any kind of counterattack opportunity if it presents itself for Banfield.
Now, does that put a bit more impetus? Of course, you see Chavez near the top. Maciel, like I said, is that going to give Velez the push, the impetus going forward? Knowing that Banfield had to make that many changes in such a short period of time. To be in a corner. And also add to that the fact that a player did get sent off.
Right. I mean, this is set up here for Velez to get a goal or two and win this match. Now it's just about being aggressive, finding the right pass, and then finding where the hole in the space is going to be in the setup for Banfield.
You can send that ball through and going just wide. it's crazy. It's crazy to say this, but in the last 10 games combined for Velez and for Banfield, okay, for Velez and Banfield, they've scored 9 goals.
Oh.
Combined.
Oh, that's brutal.
In his last 5 games, Blas Armoa has scored 5.
Ooh.
It ends up baffling you a little bit. Of course, with Armoa. And on top of that, of course, I'll mention a little bit more in just a second, is Velez continuing to maintain possession. So they'll go out of bounds. There's Armoa alongside Mateo Retegui. Just sensational, out of this world attack that Tigre has right now.
Yeah. It's gonna get them. It's gonna get them into Sudamericana.
Not only that, for Armoa, it should get him a call up to Paraguay.
Yeah.
Now, I say that because the ball just rockets stage right. I say that because, we're in the month of October, and we are almost 5 months away from World Cup qualifying play to begin again.
Disappointed for Paraguay that they didn't make it to Qatar. So they got to set things up for the run to the United States.
It's North America 2026,
Yep.
So, of course, like I said, World Cup qualifying playing CONMEBOL starts in March.
Already? Jeez.
That was just confirmed. That was confirmed a couple of days ago, as, of course, that same format will remain. Although there will be 6.5 spots to the World Cup. Of course, that 0.5, the World Cup playoff. So there will be 6 teams qualifying. Of course, keep in mind that the 2026 World Cup will be 48 teams now instead of 32.
Jeez.
So you do have the possibility of first and foremost, Peru going directly. Let's see how that happens. Let's see how that plays out. You might have Colombia, you might have Paraguay, you might have Venezuela.
Yeah. Talking about 6.5. I mean, if
6.5 out of 10.
Out of 10, right? So if the 7th place team wins the playoff, if 7 of the 10 teams in South America will be in the World Cup.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. It is exactly like that.
That's crazy.
Cueto.
I'm going to be the first one to say this. The expanded World Cup is going to produce some of the worst football, national team football you will see. I know more teams will be in it, so that'll make it more interesting. But when you add teams to a tournament, the quality of the football goes down. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's still going to be intriguing. You still want to watch it, but a lot of the football in that World Cup is not going to be fun to watch.
We'll have to see. You know what? You might. You know what? Your statement is probably, as of right now, about 65% correct. Just now alone. But you might have. But you might have some interesting stories going into that tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the team I have to tout. The team I have to tout is Velez also making some changes. It'll be, of course, now. As he replaces Santiago Castro, which is not a bad decision. He was already on a yellow card.
Yep.
Walter Bo coming in, he replaces Franco Diaz. The team I have to tout there
Okay.
For that is Venezuela.
Yeah. They have a good rising young talent on that team.
Yes, sir.
Venezuela.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Paraguay's got their talent too. But they haven't been able to consolidate. That's another issue. But my team looking to the future, at least in that World Cup qualifying play, is Venezuela. Guido looking to drop back and Hanson. Whatever you said about Peckerman, you're right.
Yeah, Peckerman is the manager, so you know they're gonna play some good football. Peckerman is an excellent manager.
Yes, sir. And he's taking that national team in the right direction, slowly but surely. Fernandez. Now Velez starting to tighten up the screws a little bit more. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing as of right now, because they're just circulating the ball from one end to the other. Whoa! Florentin. Orellano. They've kept it within the same radius for about 10 passes now. And they give it right to Guido. There's a foul being called, and Banfield ends up, well, not necessarily dodging a bullet, just moving the ball forward a bit.
You bring on Bo and Hansen, so that's obviously going to enhance the attack. And now Walter Bo in the middle is going to be the playmaker. They didn't have anyone in the middle creating any chances when Diaz was on the pitch. So now you bring in Walter Bo. Let's see what he can do in the middle to distribute and set up goal-scoring opportunities.
So play continuing. When was the last shot on target?
The last shot on target. I think you probably have to go back to the first half, right? The Orellano shot that was kept out by Cambeses off the chest. We haven't had one here in the second half.
And for a second, I thought I had asked you to split Adams.
Yeah.
Which is about the same thing.
Because that's how long you really got to think about it. You have to really think about it.
Yeah, I did. Well, yeah, you did. As Bo trying to make the effort. At least he's able to get the free kick.
There's something you don't see too often. A player with his shirt tucked into his pants. You almost never see that in world football anymore.
He just came on, so.
Oh, okay.
Give him time.
They don't do it anymore. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, it was common, but not anymore.
The referee would reprimand you if you didn't. Like that Bo. Yep. Hanging and maybe hung a little too much as it goes over everyone's head. It'll end up being a goal kick.
A little bit.
68 minutes in.
Yeah, if Bo keeps that service lower, as you mentioned, hanging over the head of everyone, he keeps it lower, drops it in lower. There were a couple of his teammates there ready to head it on the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Still getting warmed up. That's what it is.
Velez with this result, well, they're in second to last place with 17 points. Now, the good news about all of that is that they won't end up in last place, as Aldo Civi is already assured that, as they already played. They won 2-0 against Barraca Central. So that ends up being a very interesting talking point going into the final stretch of the season. As Aldo Civi and Patronato look pretty much sentenced to going into the second. Now, I say it with a verbal asterisk, as they're still there's still time, first and foremost. Second of all, we still don't know if there's going to be promotion and relegation. Relegation, that's a different story. The ball sent in. And Cambeses gathering himself. He'll just throw that out as he took a pretty good knock. We still don't know yet, 100%. Now, we'll take it as such as it will maintain itself. So if that were the case, as it is as of today, what is today, October 4th?
Yep.
Right there will be Aldosivi and Patronato. They will both end up being relegated. Belgrano being the first team that is going to be promoted. Belgrano will be a very exciting team to watch from a football standpoint, but even more so from a spectacle standpoint. If you have not seen Belgrano and how their fans receive them game in, game out, well, you're missing one of the major spectacles of Argentine football. Patronato with 101 out of 98. Aldosivi with 102 out of 99. So those two with points 1.03. Arsenal with 109 out of 99. So there's about a 7-point gap that needs to be made up. 7 and 8 points respectively. As Cacique Medina are looking to make some changes. Gianluca Prestiani about to come on. So there is a bit of a gap that Arsenal could end up being benefited from. Keep in mind there's 15 points left to play and they have a 7-point cushion.
Yeah, I think Aldosivi and Patronato are heading down to the second division. They're going to get relegated. Good to see Belgrano back, so we have the Clásico Cordobés between Belgrano and Talleres, so that should be interesting. That should be fun.
Oh, that will be absolute pandemonium. That'll be great. Cuero.
Oh.
Dropping it back. Now, when it comes, if promotion relegation is maintained, there's been a lot of rumors about a 30-team league going into next year.
Goodness, why would they do that?
It's not the, now mind you, let's also give it some perspective. It's not the only league that's going in that direction. It's Julian Fernandez coming on. He will. It's not the first time Argentina's had a 30-team league.
No. Yeah, but they had it, what, 2 or 3 seasons ago, right? Very recently.
And then before that as well.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Luca Reggiano will come off, and Gianluca Prestiani will come onto the pitch.
I'm a little surprised Orellano came off. He must be exhausted. That might be the reason. I like what he did in this match as the real danger man for Velez throughout his time on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
He must have been tired, and so they gave him the substitution, told him to come off, see how Velez responded. I mean, you still have Bo and Hanson, so they shouldn't fall off that much in the attack.
Gianluca Prestiani, of course, born on January 31st, 2006.
He'd still be in high school.
Yeah.
Youngster. Real young.
As that ball gets away from Bo.
It must be pretty cool being a professional footballer at 16 years old.
And sharing your birthday with Terry Washington, too.
Ooh, that's the best part.
Corner kick coming up here for Velez Sarsfield. Well, it gets cleared away. It's crazy to say that. I mean, it's crazy to say, well, not even that crazy to say it anymore because we've seen players in Serie A already turn 15 and making their debut. We've already seen that already happen. There's another player coming on, this one for Banfield. Another player that will be making his debut as well. Alan Di Pipa. Of course, he wasn't born in 2006. He was born in 2000. So, Palacios coming off.
I was going to say, Palacios, after he took a beating in the first, 5 minutes of the second half, has been very quiet.
Yeah.
Good substitution there.
Pipa played back in August against Central. Played a few minutes coming off the bench, so this is his second bite at the cherry, if you will. Launching it in Quiros, trying to find Andres Chavez.
I know, just side note, Gary Washington, everybody knows her from Scandal, but in the Chris Rock movie with I Think I Love My Wife, that's where I became a fan, we put it that way.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That ball taken away quickly in Banfield. I'm today years old now. Cuero. That ball taken away.
Cuero doesn't get the cross into the area, but he does burn off some clock by taking it to the end line.
Another chance. Again, another driving dribble, just trying to get past everyone. Prestiani. And the beauty of having those young players, it's that insolence that they bring forth.
Yeah. Impress the manager with young, fresh legs. They're going to run at the defense and try and score and be aggressive, which is exactly what Velez need right now. They haven't fully taken advantage of their man advantage. Banfield have done a good job of keeping themselves well organized, getting the numbers back defensively, but Velez with the man advantage need to do a better job of breaking it down. Bo is not getting enough touches. We haven't mentioned Hanson once since he's come on, so he needs to get more involved. That's the key for Velez.
As the referee brings the ball back, it'll end up going back to Velez.
Nacho!
Slowly progressing into the final 10 minutes of this match. Gianluca Prestiani. Bo. Florentin. Florentin has been all sideways passes in this match.
Yeah.
Prestiani. Didn't offer one bit of depth. A chance. Oh! Hanson. Goal! Absolutely love the fact that it wasn't just about Hanson. Everyone just flocked over to the near side. Gianluca Prestiani for Lucas Hanson, and everyone goes and celebrates his first career assist with Gianluca Prestiani, as he's the one that nestled it, settled it in. Yeah, just look at that, the gesture that all of the veterans have towards the youngster. But it's Lucas Hansson that puts Velez on top, 1-0.
Oh, the ball by Prestiani is perfect there. You can't really blame the marking. A lot of times in those situations, you say, oh, the marking was loose. No, but it was just perfectly placed by Prestiani. There was someone there to give a little bit of contact on Hansson, but everybody was ball watching for the most part. And Prestiani just dropped it perfectly for Hansson in that bullet header. And they found a way to break through the Banfield defense, and it was Prestiani with a cross from the right side to give Velez the lead. And now they need to continue to be ruthless, get a second goal, and secure the 3 points. What a ball by Prestiani. I mean, it's just perfect.
And what he was able to do is Prestiani, once again, trying to go through, dances around. This time, it's not allowing him through. Was Adam Quiros. Just how comfortable. I hate the fact that many coaches look to try and take that aspect of play away. And again, I don't want to editorialize, because that's not what my job is. But every so often you have to chime in with these types of things, because there are observations that have to be made. Bo, when you have a young player like Prestiani coming in and offering what he's offered, you can't immediately start to try and take that away from him, because that is part of his craft. That is part of his toolbox. And you see coaches do that a lot with these young players. I hope that that it ends up not being the case, because you're seeing a great deal of potential bloom right in front of our eyes.
Absolutely. And when you consider the position he plays out wide on the right, he does need to do every once in a while a couple of those tricks to get himself open so that he can create those corners and get the space necessary for those deliveries into the area. And in the end, you know, the game of football that we love, it is about expression. And as long as it's an effective expression that doesn't hurt the team, you gotta let the players express themselves and entertain the crowd as well, as long as it's within their skill set and it helps the team win.
Yeah, I mean, there will be a maturity process that he has to undergo. I mean, you've said that. As you can see again, how this play develops, what he's able to do, but also the awareness that he has in this situation.
Right. You see, not much pressure on the ball. It's only when he makes the move to cross into the area, that's when Ignacio Rodriguez tries to step in and get in front of him. But before that, he had plenty of time and space so he could pick his head up and then pick out the pass for Hansson. A clever footballer as well for 16 years of age, for his age.
Osorio. Was there a foul there? It looked like there was, but Darío Herrera wants to play to continue. There will be a substitution, as Quiros will come off. He will be replaced by Jeremias Perales. Trying to knot it into who? Chavez coming in late. Now let's see this play again. I had a bit of doubt. Osorio comes in.
Ooh,
I have my doubts.
Let's see.
No.
Nah. I thought at first it was some contact. He does stretch out the leg there, but nah, there was no foul.
Velez, with everything settled, looking to settle things down, and of course, if they can advance, it'll be welcome. Prestiani. and from far away, he just lifted it over into the stage.
He just hit Daddy Yankee's manager on the side of the stage there with that shot.
Actually, the artist that is going to be in concert on Thursday is at the stage. He was actually at halftime. He was out onto the pitch. Duki.
Oh, okay. Duki is in Argentine.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him, so I don't know who he is.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. Mix tools.
Okay.
I think that's what and that actually Andy likes him.
Oh, okay. We just Google it and then watch it on YouTube.
But of course, the one that is always present is Bizarrap. He's a big Velez fan, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Bizarrap is a huge Velez fan. So much so that when Diego Godin was presented, he was the one that presented him in the official club video.
Oh,
you know,
that's cool.
When the club makes the transfer or the acquisition of a player, I mean, you've seen it, of course,
right
on social media. Well, it was him. Bizarrap was the one that he's the one that did that. That was made the announcement of Diego Godin.
That's cool. It always helps a club when they have someone famous, especially like an artist that's a big supporter. That's awesome.
Now, if he can only help his team on the pitch, now if only Banfield can have someone on the pitch that can help him, that would be even better. But so far, they're looking to trudge forward. All sorts of problems here, looking to send that ball back in, looking for that hopeful chance. Don't worry. We'll give you an opportunity because we're going to commit a foul just outside of the 18, and a yellow card will be issued. As we get to 87.
This is probably the best opportunity for Banfield to get a goal here in the second half and to equalize.
6th yellow card of the match. Matias de los Santos comes on. Probably for Damian Fernandez, who just got booked. 6 yellow cards and a red. That, of course, being Lautaro Rios at 54. Guido. See how this wall gets set up. No, it will be Adiel Osorio that comes off, actually. So Osorio comes off. De Los Santos comes on for the last few minutes.
Osorio looks gassed. They say, what's the expression? Nothing left in the tank there? That's what it looks like for Osorio. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Velez will still be in 27th. 19 points. But still maintaining that 3-point cushion over El Docini. Banfield will stay at 26 in 21st. It says, as this round will be a crucial one. Mentioned in just a second, the match is tomorrow. It'll be Cueto. Put way too much on that ball, way too much everything on that ball.
Yeah, you can see he got under it, and that's what sailed the ball over the bar. He's got to take maybe a little bit of a sharper angle in terms of his run up there so that he can bend it, keep the shot down.
So tomorrow will be Patronato Colón, Defensa Justicia Racing. That'll be over at the Tito Tomaguelo. Back here. One more step, please, gentlemen. There we go. Atlético Tucumán Platense. River Estudiantes. contra el Córdoba. So a lot of movement, or lack thereof, as the ball coming back in. Prestiani serving it in. Ooh. And again, coming oh so close to getting yet another assist.
Yeah, this one is actually a great ball in Prestiani again. Drops it in very well here. Calm and composed. There's the run coming. And maybe a little bit of a harder run. In the middle there by Florentin, and he gets to the end of it, but it's the right idea. Clever pass by the kid.
For Thursday, it'll be Huracán Talleres, Lanús Argentinos, Gimnasia Boca. 5 minutes will be added on.
Ooh, that's
the marquee matchup of the round. Last chance for Gimnasia. Just made a little bit too wide a turn, and coming out of his area was Cambeses. Same thing for Huracán, who lost the Clásico to San Lorenzo this weekend.
For a couple of teams, this is an elimination round.
Yeah. I mean, hypothetically, let's say if Atletico Tucumán win, they stay 1 point of Boca. Let's say Boca win. Let's say they both end up having... Now, if Atletico Tucumán win, Boca lose, then all of a sudden Atletico Tucumán is back in first place. Racing is lurking behind. And it's already been announced that if there is a playoff, if there is a tie, immediately there will be a one-game playoff.
Ooh, okay. So they're not going to decide, no tiebreaker in other words, in terms of the
there's no tiebreak in Argentine football. No. It's a one-game playoff.
That's fun.
Now, yeah, well, for neutrals.
For neutrals, right.
And so that'll be interesting. I mean, all of these matches have a lot of consequence. Now, the team that's going to have it difficult is Atletico Tucumán. Julian had to tip it over. Because they play Boca, and at the weekend they play Racing.
Ooh.
So they could end up top of the table. Actually, I'm sorry, not Atletico Tucumán playing Boca. Atletico Tucumán and they play Racing. So they can find themselves in first place and with a cushion, or they can find themselves basically completely out of it by the end of this week.
Yep.
I mean that's a wide spectrum to be dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, 3 points against Platense are necessary. Absolutely, they have to get that.
And Platense is a very difficult side. Still trying to clear that ball. If you start looking at records of teams, Platense, let's say Platense, away from home, they've been a very difficult team to beat.
Yeah.
They've only been able to win 1 out of the last 5, but they still have had a lot of balls. A square ball could send the Prestiani.
Ooh.
But it wasn't too square, and Cambeses was able to come off his line and anticipate it very well.
Make or break portion of the season for Tucumán and their chances of winning a title. They figure they got to pick up 3 points against Platense, and maybe if they get a draw against Boca, against Racing, I should say. That's big. Oh, this is going to be a great finish to this Liga Profesional campaign.
Yep. So, you hear the fans. For Velez, if this result remains, it'll be 2 in a row at home. after having gone winless at home in their previous 5. Now, you said you told me in the past you were an optimist, right?
Yes.
Well, during that streak, there were about 4 draws and 2 wins. I don't know how much of a positive spin did I give it, but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. I'm trying to be positive here, okay? I'm trying to be positive.
I mean, it's good to, you don't want to lose. Wins are obviously optimal and preferred.
Yeah. So it gets cleared away.
If you don't play well and you get a draw, there's some positives you can take away from that.
And the positive you can get out of this is that Velez have once again won at home. A very tight result under very obscure circumstances in a stage left. So with all that in mind, all of the other things that have happened and all of the things that transpired during this match, it ends up being a 16-year-old that sends a service into the area, and Lucas Hansson ends up being the hero for the evening, George. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure working with you, Juan. Always.
There we go. And with that in mind, we end up bidding you adieu. Andy Schimmelman will take you the rest of the way. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the final score, Velez 1, Banfield 0. Talk to you soon. Ciao.
Ciao, Juan. George, thank you both. And finally, the victory for Velez, a much-needed one. For L14 here at home, 1-0. The goal scored by Lucas Hansson. Wrapping up this Tuesday of action in the Liga Profesional de Fútbol with this relatively strange game played under these circumstances. And let's take a look precisely at the game highlights. Agustin Mulet starts us off with a shot from distance. Does not hit the target. Luca Orellano trying to find Santiago Castro. For the free kick from Orellano, header by Castro. Here, the cross over the far side. Orellano captures it, fires, and Facundo Cambeses saves it with his chest. Very powerful shot from the number 10 from El Fortín. Off of that play, Castro with a shot from distance, and Cambeses sending it out for a corner. A great piece of goalkeeping by Cambeses. Back-to-back. Counter-attack for Banfield. Enrique holding on, giving it to Julian Palacios. His shot hits the post. Best chance for the visiting team in the first half. In the second, Abiel Osorio with a turnarounder. Can't hit the target as well. Time for the red card for Lautaro Rios. Terrific really challenge on Agustin Mulet. 15 on 15.